this could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello there, and welcome to the 179th edition of Louis Black's Rantcast, entitled Thou Shalt Not Be Stupid. And that should be the first commandment. There should be 11 of them now, because we get dumber by the day, but I'll be getting into that after I get us to some good news. At least I'm enjoying the news. Inside Out is hitting record numbers. It's just unbelievable that I could end up at this point in my career, moments before retiring from touring, in a blockbuster. And it is a blockbuster, and I think it's great. I think it really is, and I mean that. Not just for those of us who were able to be in it, which was a joyful experience, to be honest with you. And coming, because nothing makes me happier than being angry for a while. And to be, let you know, when we first started recording the tracks for Inside Out 2, I had gotten a call that morning that my mother had passed away. I had known this was coming, but still, it's a shock. And I'd known it was coming. She was 104, so you kind of think every day it's coming. But she'd really turned the corner, and I heard that, and I thought, wow, I could cancel it, but what? And to be honest with you, what better way to get to begin to at least kind of expel some of the grief that you're feeling by going down and playing anger, which was one of my mother's strongest suits, and she's the one who kind of passed it on to me, and but also that to be able to, just be able as anger to get that off my chest, because it's a lot of yelling and screaming, and that's what I did that day. It's hard to really know what was taken from that recording, and I didn't tell them at the time. I said afterwards, what really, after they'd really already edited everything, that was when I came in that day. But I was there. My mother would have yelled at me if I hadn't. And I think both my parents would be astonished if they were around, which would make them 100 and whatever, 1,000 years old. But they would to see what's happening with that extraordinary piece of animation. And it is at this point in time, when we are rattling our cage in this country on levels that is unimaginable. Okay, it's got to stop. Okay, part of the reason I think that people didn't want these two to be running against each other again is because of this constant kind of like turmoil that occurs. And the one place that you can escape it and the heat is by going into Inside Out 2. And if you have children, it's a great way to begin a discussion about maybe how to well, I'm sure, but not maybe how, but how to deal with your emotions. I know the kids after the first one would point out to their folks, I'm feeling red, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. And I think what it does in terms of anxiety, which we've all been feeling, and I think I even talked about this last week, it's a tremendous lesson. And I think it's a great way to escape the madness and focus on health, especially the health of your children and your own. So I couldn't be happier to see it, and around the globe. So it's really something, and it's great for Pixar because I think they're an organization, and there are not a lot of organizations that I would say this about that really has put in the time, the energy, and the work to deserve this type of thing. There's all sorts of arguments that they kind of simplify or do whatever to kind of it's animation. What do you expect? It's going to be somewhat simplified. But they have a real sense of the history of it. And I think focus down, right, in their own fashion, and as others have done in the ways that other major studios have look at animation, but boy, it's really. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. I really am, and it's something that helps distract me as I look at the numbers ticking away. And hello there. But I just wanted to bring you up to speed. I'm going to be taking a bit of a break now, doing some odds and ends here and there. Who knows what? But in August, I will be hitting the road again. And the 9th and the 10th, I will be at Hilarities in Cleveland. The 16th and the 17th, I just said, God, get me to Vegas when it's 2,000, maybe 3,000 degrees. We'll be at the Venetian, and looking forward to that. Looking forward to the sun being a foot from my fucking head. And then in October, returning to Durham and Charleston. Also will be coming your way in Milwaukee and Madison. And so, and here's one for you. Spotify is going to be, if you're on that platform, I guess they call it, and now I sound like an aging fuck. If you're on Spotify, you can now either watch the Rantcast or you can just listen to the audio. And so that's what I got for you today, and in just a moment, I'll be back. And while we do everything we can to make ourselves crazier, including having a utterly useless debate coming up, hopefully Inside Out 2 will hopefully will make us a little less crazier. I mean, all you can do is hope. And I'm sure that maybe you, after you watch the debate, you might want to wake up the next day and go see Inside Out 2, because we're going to be, it's rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. Here we go again. Well, you're a and that'll really decide it, because somebody's going to make a big mistake, and that's what will decide the election. What is the matter with us? Because that's all they're talking about. 78, 81. I mean, please, somebody, help us. We didn't want either candidate, and now we got to listen to them tell us, repeat again, all the things about why we don't want either of them, and but it's mainly watching the elderly at play, and it's enough is enough. Okay, seriously, let's wake up and get on track here. But doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Hence the title of today's show, Thou Shalt Not Be Stupid. It's a commandment that I think it's the 11th commandment. And it should be right at the top, right at the fucking very top, so that before anybody anywhere thinks of anything, they should ask themselves, would Jesus think this is stupid? Would Moses think this is stupid? Would Muhammad think it's stupid? And go from there. Okay? Because the good folks of Louisiana, who have a school system that is 47th, okay, 47th in education, decided the way in which to deal with this problem that they have, would be that they would pass a law, which they did and signed by the governor, that would place in every elementary school, junior high, high school, and college, a copy of the 10 commandments. And God, that'll do it. That'll skyrocket those kids to learn when they go home. Boy, that's going to really do it. That is the thing that's going to straighten it all out. You're 47th in education, huh? Where were the people who were elected when they elected these people? Were these people who were elected to office? Were they elected to office when Louisiana was 50th in education? That they were going to school then? You really? The 10 commandments, and really and put the 11th right across the blackboard every day. I think if I taught a class at this point, that's what I would start with every morning. Thou shalt not be stupid, so don't raise your hand unless you got something fucking to say that's important or really answers the question, or you actually did study last night and do the work you had to do, and I don't want to hear any fucking excuses. Oh, wow, now I do sound like my mother. She was a teacher. I'm so I just find it unbelievable. The governor of the state, Landry, after this bill was passed, said, if you want to respect, first off, he's signing the bill. He called it one of his favorites, a favorite bill, right? And if you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original law given, which was Moses. And he got his commandments from God. You sure of that? Huh? He went to the top of the mountain. Maybe he wrote them out himself, huh? Might have been inspired by God. We don't know if God really spoke to Moses, do we? No, we do not. Even though the burning bush he supposedly spoke, I forget if that was the story because it's a little off topic. But are you really, huh? And if it did come from Moses, then okay, then those laws, those commandments belong to the Jews, and we should get a cut. There should be a trademark and some royalties coming our way. For using it. You don't get to just throw those things up because you want. What about the separation of church and state, huh? It's in our Constitution. Do we have to repeat this over and over again? It's why they fled Europe and England to get away from that shit. Okay? In order to separate themselves so they could have their lives and have their religion and not worry about it in the public square. And you don't throw it into a schoolroom, okay? Do you think the kids can read? Why don't you write it in cursive, huh? See if they can read that. Well, we got rid of cursive. Well, that's really helping too. It's just astonishing to me, right? I mean, I just find this so beyond belief. I mean, we can't get back to the 50s or the 40s or the 30s fast enough. We took these things to the Supreme Court. We've been through this. We cut the Lord's Prayer. You want to really make sure the kids don't pay attention to these things. Put them up everywhere in every classroom. All right? Because after they read it for the third or fourth time, they're going to go, what does that mean? Huh? You go to school to be socialized, Governor Landry. You go to school to be socialized. That is part of the deal, to be educated and to learn to live with others. And you do that by coming up with a common set, as we have, of how to treat each other. Doing to others as you would have them do unto you. That's it. It's that simple. You don't need to write it and say, well, God said it. No, you go to church. You go to wherever it is that you worship, wherever it is. Okay? And then the kids sit down there and they go, well, if you don't do this, then God is going to smote you. All right? That's what they did with us on Yom Kippur. You fucked up here, you fucked up there, you broke this, you did that, you screwed up everything. God's going to get you. That's how you make kids do it. You don't do it in the classroom. They know that's bullshit. You find another way to scare them there. And you do that through socialization. It's not to scare them, but you scare them into socializing with each other, or they're in trouble. And that's the deal. And you figure out how to get that back into the curriculum, which is that you don't do this, you're screwed. Okay? And that's that. And I think I've just been a little oversimplistic about it. But you don't allow the 10 Commandments to be in the classroom. And you certainly should have the first one being, thou shalt not be stupid. I mean, because then you've got a guy running for the presidency who is going to be having the convention for the Republicans is going to be in Milwaukee. And he said that, but he didn't say it. But apparently there seems to be some discrepancy of whether he said it or not. I'm sure he thought it. He was going to stay in Chicago until they caught him so he could stay at his hotel. Okay? Don't tell me he doesn't think it's a horrible city. He said worse about other cities. And for him to even think it, Milwaukee is a great city. Just a great fucking town. And if you drink, it's a shrine. It's just a shrine to alcohol. It's kind of calmed down just a touch. when I have never been anywhere. Who's the first one that I ever had? Where did I have a Jaeger first? Milwaukee. What's that? Well, you're really going to want to try it. It helps straighten you out after you've drank a lot. Who came up with the brandy old fashions? Whoop, Milwaukee. Well, the state of Wisconsin is a group. They had a what is it, Jaeger draft, so that little thing, that they they dropped the bottles of Jaeger so they could get them into a kind of it's a Jaeger draft. That's all I can think of, where you pull down that the thing and you get a little shot of Jaeger that way, or more. I can't imagine drinking more than a shot of Jaeger. Even thinking about it makes me my stomach gets a little flippy. But it really helped the first time. Oh yeah, God, I've had 7 scotches. This is really mellowing me out. This is really doing the job. I can see clearly now. But it really, and the price of booze there. I mean, nobody else serves a Bloody Mary with a side this big of a beer chaser. A beer chaser with in order to be sure that, I guess, if the Bloody Mary's too hot, but it was just spectacular. And they get the cheap, because I used to believe that they would knock over liquor trucks and steal the liquor and bring them to town. It was, the first time I had scotch there, at a bar during Summerfest, and thank God, and the world's greatest music festival too, guys, that has been there forever, and way ahead of the curve there, where you could go on any given day and see 3 really fucking extraordinary bands. You pay the admission, hang in there all day. I did stand up. They had a comedy tent forever. I was the last comic to work there. And I'm very proud of that. Not that they stopped doing comedy. No, they didn't stop doing comedy because it was me. That was going to be it. That was the last show at the Harley stage, I believe, the Harley Davidson stage. Because when you think Harleys, you think Lewis Black. So it was really, and after I did, my 3rd or 4th show there, I went to the bar nearby at the hotel and that I was staying in. I got myself a Glenfiddich, I believe it was, or it was Glenlivet, and they gave me a drink, and then they said, I had another drink, and then they gave me another one on the house, and I had another one, and then they gave me another one on the house. So I was paying for 3 of the 5. I was making money drinking there, because what it would have cost in New York would have been like probably a week's worth of food. So it was, I've always had a soft spot for Milwaukee. I love playing the Pabst Theater. Ask Kathleen Madigan, it's one of the great places to perform by far. And I look forward, I'm returning there. And I can't wait to do what would be my final tour show in Milwaukee. But if the Paps asked me back, son of a bitch, would I go? Yeah, I'd go. Just to stand on that stage again. It's quite nice. So call it a horrible city. You kidding me? What is the matter with him? Just zip it. What did he recently called left-wing radical degenerates. I guess he uses the word, after he says that he refers to the left as degenerates. Stop it. Okay? You don't agree with what they're saying. Talk about what they're saying that you don't agree with. Don't demean the people. I'm sorry. You're running for the presidency. Children listen. Okay? Governor Landry. All right? Thou shalt not be stupid. You don't get to say that about other human beings. All right? You just don't. Especially those that are a part of this society and a fabric of this society. They're Democrats. God knows that there are maybe 6 heavily left-wingers. He the other day said, this is what Trump said, Christians need to vote to defend religious liberty from communists, Marxists, and fascists. How many do you think are out there? Huh? What's the matter with you? All right? Communists, Marxists, and fascists. You can, like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. even if they're 10,000, 100,000. Please stop it. And he said that if he took off his shirt, they'd see a beautiful person covered with wounds he had all over him from defending religion from degenerates. Not from, but defending religion. Really? I'd like, take off the shirt. Take off the shirt. I'm sorry. I know people, I don't like taking a side, but this is enough. This is intolerable. All right? You want me to take you seriously? You don't refer to other human beings in that fashion. All right? You at least pretend to be an example until you get into office. Then do whatever you want. You win, then fine. Then you're going to probably do it anyway. Okay? Because I don't trust you. You lived here in New York, and boy, he did that apprentice well. That's reason enough to vote. But they're still going on about it. God, it's been off the air for years. Nobody, really. Who'd think that's on the resume that skyrocketed him to the presidency? Somebody got to be fucking kidding me. God. Look, I hopped out of my seat. I was so irritated. But let's get back to some good news. The Supreme Court, in a moment of lucidity, actually decided that those who had a domestic violence restraining order against them in marriage or a relationship could not be sold a gun and should not be allowed to have a gun. Huh? How is that? They did it. They did it, except for Clarence Thomas. Thou shalt not be stupid, Clarence. Thou shalt not be stupid. Clarence, he voted. He felt that sure, why not? Let those who have a domestic restraining order, let them have guns. He didn't want to. He didn't want to mess with the Second Amendment. He didn't want to have us go down that road. We've got to mess with the Second Amendment, okay? Whether we like it or not, all right? Because obviously this whole idea of giving enough guns to every human being in America had a gun. Well, give it to animals too. Why not? I mean, if a Doberman Pinscher needs a gun, I say, put him, have those things that during the Mexican the Civil War, at least in the movie Viva Zapata with Wallace Berry, God knows what. Sure, there's all sorts of, we'll never see that again. But they would wear the bullets across their chest. That's what they should have on. A Doberman should be allowed to at least wear those bullets that, and maybe the guns will come later once we teach them how to take their paws and come up with something that they can shoot with. It's just crazy. I mean, I can't believe I just can't get over this. All right? Well, the way to do this is we're giving everybody a gun, and you see, because these other people, the evil people, will have guns. No. What's tough now is that a lot of these people aren't evil. They're nuts. They're nuts. Okay? Thou shalt not be stupid. And that's what I got here today. That's it. And I'd like to dedicate today's Rantcast to Willie Meyers, who was part of my childhood, from and the fact that I got to watch him play. I think I saw him once or twice live. Once, maybe. I was lucky enough, but I saw him on TV a lot. He was just a great ball player and a great human being, really. With one of those with a certain kind of a light that shined out of him, and a man who loved the game of baseball and taught many of us to love that game. He was something. Donald Sutherland, one of my favorite actors. By God. Clute, Knockout. I believe it's Hawkeye in MASH. Spectacular. Role after role after role of just impeccable work. And really, somebody said he never outshone the role. He just went into the skin of the character. Something else. And finally, an actor you've never probably heard of, but a really great, solid theater actor who deserved more in terms of television and film, but certainly loved the theater, and the theater loved him, and he was one of those actors who was a go-to actor. When I ran the West Bank Cafe downstairs theater bar with my friends, Dan Moran is his name, and he would do some work there with us, and he did work on off-Broadway and Broadway, and was really just a gifted actor and a wonderful human being, and passed from Parkinson's disease, and that's my uncle did. Another close friend recently, just a while back, did. My friend Cliff Figallo, and now Dan, and hopefully we can find a way to deal with it. And thank you, Michael J. Fox, for doing all that you can to make it, to shine a light on that and make it possible that we might find a cure. Yes, we just might. And that's really what I got today. That we ended up. Now where is this? As long as we've kind of gone insane, the delegates of July's Republican National Convention in Milwaukee will be allowed to carry AR-15 rifles inside the event's security zone. Sure, why not? Because you can really tell who, as long as they got like some ID, why not let them carry a fucking rifle? Okay? You're figuring out who to be the next president of the United States. You don't need a rifle. You're going to fire it in the air if your guy wins? What the fuck is wrong with people? Huh? There's going to be enough security there to blanket the earth. They're allowed to carry the AR-15 rifles, but not tennis balls. Are you shitting me? How is that even possible? But not tennis balls. Under Wisconsin laws, cities can't exact restrictions on firearms that go beyond state regulations. So most guns will be allowed at the RNC. Perfect. Because you can really tell the people who are the nut jobs from those who really know what they're doing with a gun. Huh? Alderman Scott Spikers notes that canned goods will be prohibited because they can be thrown. But nothing is more dangerous, is a more dangerous projectile than a bullet. Well, good. So no tennis balls, no canned food. Oh man, who's bringing canned food? Well, you can't bring that can of peaches in, but I'm hungry. No, go get yourself. You can bring it in if you got a gun to defend yourself from us taking it away. I can't even. I'm just drifting. It's too much. Thou shalt not be stupid. Please. And I include myself when I say that every time. Lewis, don't be stupid. And so let's wrap this up. I'd like to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the incredible group of rants that I was able to read, and I'm lucky to be able to read them. And please continue to send them in, because now I've got the time and the energy. And I'm off in July, but we'll be working on the Rantcast, and so I will have time to go through what you send in. And I'm looking forward to reading all of it. Take care of each other and have a good week. And don't rush the TV when the debates come on and with your head down like this, and because we need you. You're crazy. You're not. Thank you, Matthew Meyers, for this, I think, a long overdue rant. And there's another one that'll follow it. I appreciate this. Am I the only one who has a problem with a pastor reminding the congregation that there will be some cornholing at the church picnic? I do live in the American South, and it usually sounds something like this. There will be a puppy corner for our four-legged friends, for God loves all creatures, great and small. Moms, we will have Kendra at the kitty corner, so bring those babies, because the Lord loves a cheerful crier. And there will be some cornholing going on for kids of all ages. And you know how much we love to cornhole around here. And after the beans and wieners, we might have to crown a cornhole king or queen in a championship round. What kind of church is this? Should I fetch the fiddle? Is corn provided? Do we bring our own? What about the blue bonnet? Or I can't believe it's not butter. Cornhole might be for sport, but it sure as hell was never a game. Who let cornhole out of the barn? As a youngish man, I had to look up the word cocksure and wonder if that was offensive. Not because I worked at Target, but because my mother was a bra burner who took umbrage at the word titillating, which I used every chance I could until my mom and sister were fast enough to catch me and slap the cocksure right out of my mouth. My sister was fond of saying, the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and it was time to get greasy. The traumas of home. Memories. My point is, historical etymology is great if one loves words. Even the phrase semantic change is losing out to the kinder and more popular semantic drift. Oh, I know, cute. A-holes. Even word morphology can take centuries. I don't care how corn and hole came together in the penal system. I do sometimes wonder if the lifers know that someone stole a word that by all rights was kind of their thing, their bread and butter language. But how? How was that word abducted and no one is speaking up? Cornhole is a word with unrepentant Stockholm syndrome. My observation is that preachers, especially of the Southern stripe, really like to pepper that word in their festivity announcements. My observation is that preachers, especially of the Southern stripe, really like to pepper that word in their festivity announcements whenever they can and with spirited gusto. And why not? Roll it around in your mouth a few times. Admittedly, it's a fun word. But they can keep that fucking picnic. Cornhole. It is a hell of a word. And I really was stunned the first time I ever heard it. That they said, oh, we got a game and it's called Cornhole. I mean, I'd seen the game. I didn't realize Cornhole really. And then they're on ESPN, Cornhole, and all day long. Let's follow this with, these two came in together. Dear Lewis, back in 2008, I was visiting a friend in Bardstown, Kentucky, and while reading the local paper, I saw that the annual Fun Day event was coming to the Martha Collins State Park. Horseshoes, greased pole climbing, pie eating contest, three-legged race, all those things that one would expect at a Fun Day event. And then on the bottom corner of the page was, make sure you sign up for the cornhole game, singles and doubles welcome. What the actual fuck? They could have called it corn bag toss or bag of corn toss, but no, it had to be cornhole game. They obviously didn't grow up where I did, because where I grew up, cornholing was not a game. Well, maybe for the thrower, definitely not for the receiver. What the hell were they thinking? Elbert, we should take an act of sodomy and name a family game after it. Of course, now that I reflect on it, it was in Kentucky. And maybe that's why the state's abbreviation is KY. Oh, man, Michael, you tossed that in at the end. Michael, it's everywhere, that game. Everywhere. Not just in Kentucky. Well, that's your 2008. It is a stunner when you hear about it for the first time. Cornhole. God, I'd love to know. Well, I'm sure if someone could send in the origin of that for me, because I'm not looking it up. I don't have time. I've got to read a lot of these extraordinary rants you're setting in. So if you know where cornhole came from, please let me know. So let me thank Matthew Meyers for that. And thank you, Michael Cohen, for yours. Appreciate it. From Rudy Will, and I appreciate this, Rudy. Not a rant, really. Just want to say thanks. I saw you in December 2007, the USO. Not sure I have shit else of note in my military career, and I'm sure you do, Rudy. You did more than the man who wants to be president. You signed up for the military and went over there, so I know you did a lot more of note than a lot of us did. Not just him, including myself. I just showed up to entertain you. But so you're not sure that I have shit else of note in my military career, but I saw you and Robin Williams, and it was fucking amazing. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that, and so would Robin. I know that. He loved going over there. And I just wanted to read that for those of the folks out there who always get riled up about, the fact that I might say something they disagree with me because they think I'm raving, whatever. And so I wanted to let them know, no, I did a lot of stuff. And those 3 USO tours were really important. And, and it shows my commitment to the country. Yeah. And really shows my commitment to the troops too. And thank you, Rudy Will, for all you've done for us. And I hope they're treating you well. I hope your medical is covered. Whatever you need is covered. That your military career brought you into another career that you really enjoy. Thank you. That made my day. Here's a quick one, an interesting one. Straight to the point. Sam Lacey, thanks for this. More and more I hear people, usually Trump supporters, calling themselves Christian nationalists. There is no such thing. Christians are supposed to love everybody. Nationalists only love people of their own tribe. So how can one be a Christian nationalist? Christian nationalism is nothing more than bigotry cloaked in religion. You're either a Christian or a nationalist. You can't be both. You made your point, Sam. We'll hear if anybody disagrees. It is amazing they're coming up with that now. Christian nationalism. With separation of church and state. Fucking unbelievable. Just, they don't get it. That should be this way because no, never. Nope. All right? You're going to get rid of history books. Your kids aren't going to learn that, are they? So you can just shovel whatever kind of shit you want, down their throats. Fucking unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Stop it. You got to, it was the reason we left Europe. Hey, it's one of the reasons this country was established, was because of the separation of church and state. So stop it. Thanks for getting me all riled up, Sam. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.